So the entire goal of this operation is to promote a civil war inside Pakistan so that it's broken up and these pipelines can never be built and China can never get a guaranteed overland means of getting oil. And that was the main message of Obama's West Point speech. Also notice that now with Obama we have the new axis of evil, right? The Bush axis of evil was Iraq, Iran, and North Korea way back when. The new axis of evil is now Afghanistan, Pakistan, understood as one thing, Somalia, and Yemen. So we're back to that. New axis of evil, Afpakia, as they call it.
Here's the big question. How is this going to unfold the next year? What is the goal of the Anglo-American global establishment versus what you think they're going to get? And then what is their other goals around the world? How are things going for them? Briefly.
Well, I think the dominant mood in Wall Street and London is desperation. You saw that this large Austrian bank, Hypo Alpe Adria, went bankrupt, 40 billion euros. And now you've got this entire group of countries on the verge of sovereign default. In other words, state bankruptcy. It's the so-called PIGS group. Portugal, Ireland, Italy, Greece, Spain. And Greece seems to be the most immediate of that group. So the idea is that the Greeks would try to auction some of their state bonds, and nobody would come. That could happen to the U.S. Right now, the euro, because of these complications, the euro is collapsing faster than the dollar. So the dollar has had a little bit of a reprieve in terms of the value of the dollar, right? The euro has been going down, and that has kind of masked the weakness of the dollar. But of course, we know over here we've got the commercial real estate crisis. Those, $1 trillion or more or less $1 trillion of commercial real estate leases and other things that come up, and a lot of that will go into default. So that's going to be another burden on the banking system. Maybe people notice General Motors Acceptance Corporation, GMAC, just got another $3 to $4 billion bailout. And, of course, what that involves is DITEC funding. Right? DITEC funding is or was GMAC, and they went way into derivatives, and that's what you've got. So the build-up, we're about, a month since Dubai blew. And in the month since Dubai, you can see that the rhythm of bank bankruptcies, bank failures, and just general financial turbulence across the world, that has all increased. So I think the depression will get worse. The main goal of the U.S. and the British is to block the peaceful economic development of everybody else. Russia says, let's have the Nord Stream pipeline down the Baltic. Doesn't attack anybody. U.S. and the British say no. They say, let's have the South Stream, so you can get natural gas in southern Europe. The U.S. and the British say no. And in the meantime, look at China, right? They've got this fantastic high-speed rail from Canton, Guangzhou, up to Wuhan. So it's 1,000 kilometers, about, 600 miles.
But we're not allowed to have that here because we have these Malthusian post-industrialists who openly say they want carbon taxes to put us into the Stone Age so they can make us more manageable. They want everyone living in mud huts with loincloths but themselves up in their high-tech palaces. I mean, these are the worst, most greedy control freaks ever known.
Right, and I would suggest we need a stimulus. I mean, the U.S. economy is going to need massive stimulus, but let's make it a real stimulus. Take that Chinese train, which can go, I think it's about 200 miles an hour, thereabouts. We could do better than that. We could get up to 300, maybe 400 miles an hour.
Not allowed to.
With maglev, but we could build a New York to San Francisco transcontinental maglev that would really compete with
No, instead the globalists want to harass people into not traveling. They don't. That's the problem. They want us living in slums while they live in palaces, literally walking on platinum-paved streets.
Right, and that of course, then poses the question of some kind of independent political organization. If you look at what's happening, the leftists generally were completely duped by Obama in 2007, 2008. And I'm afraid the people going to the Tea Party rallies have now been duped by Dick Armey and the Republicans in Congress, because when these Tea Party people come to Washington, D.C., all they get are corporate, globalist, pro-Federal Reserve Republicans, right? There's no Ron Paul.
That's right. They're told you defeat the New World Order by the banks ruling everything, and we've got to attack some more brown people. That's how you really rebel. And Obama's not attacking enough countries, and we need more body scanners. And just a year ago, it was, yay, anti-New World Order, down with the private Federal Reserve. Now it's, give the bankers more power, body scan me, I'm conservative.
Yes, and you can see, again, if the Tea Party management had been honest, you would have had Puma Democrats. You could have had conservative Democrats who were anti-Obama. You could have had this entire Ron Paul area of opinion, libertarians, people like this. You could have had some anti-war people. Why not? But no, automatically they've got to be warmongers and pro-Federal Reserve and essentially, follow the Republican congressional leadership. So a lot of the people who go to the Tea Parties tell themselves that this is not controlled by the Republican Party, but in reality it seems to be pretty much controlled.
Well, Webster, in closing, I want you to have a great 2010. Do you not agree with me, though? I want to see if you do. I have no idea. If the worm is turning, the pendulum is beginning to stop and go back in our direction towards liberty, freedom. It's always darkest before the dawn, but I really do see that there is a mass awakening. And even if they try to hijack the resistance, that works for a shorter and shorter periods now, and that the jig really is up, and that we are on the edge of massive change, and that all of us being involved now can really have a chance in shaping the future destiny of humanity.
Yes, I would agree with that. I mean, certainly, if you look just at this narrow question of false flag terrorism, this is wearing very thin. In other words, I think for a lot of people, the idea that the famous now Umar Farouk Mutalab, that this character is somebody on a mission. In other words, he is a protected Patsy. And
we've got scores of mainstream news articles now saying, why is the government lying?
Now for a lot of people. Yeah. But here's the thing. What you see again with, the Obama campaign in one way, and now the takeover of the Tea Parties by the Republicans, if you don't have some independent form of organization, you will fall prey and you will be used by the other gang. How about the Republicans in 2012, General Petraeus, Mitt Romney ticket? I think if we don't do something organizationally, we're going to be faced with General Petraeus.
I agree. Webster, great job. We will see you next year, my friend. Well, you know what? Come back and talk about Petraeus. That's important.
Happy New Year to all.